Back when I was a Boy Scout, if one of the guys in the troop found some edible berries or made tea from leaves plucked in the woods, we'd say he was another Euell Gibbons. Gibbons gained his 15 minutes of fame as a spokesman for a breakfast cereal that compared its natural ingredients to the natural foods that Gibbons wrote about in books like Stalking the Wild Asparagus. That was, at least 40 years ago. But the search for plants that are edible is as old as humanity. People have always had to eat to live. As hunter-gatherers, the gathering skills, that is, knowing where to find edible plants, were as important for survival as hunting. Through the eras, people learned that growing food was even easier than gathering it, so we domesticated the corn, beans, squash, and other staples of our diets today. Other plants, though, stayed wild, but also remain nutritious, as John Slaughterback points out. A few Sundays ago, Slaughterback led a group of hikers on a hunt for edible plants at Hickory Run State Park, where he is an environmental education specialist. While hiking along, I got to know the plants and a little about Slaughterback's preferences. He likes natural teas from leaves of mint, sassafras, or yarrow. They don't cost as much as the herbal teas in the store, and, as he said, they're guaranteed to be organic. He also dislikes some plants, such as Japanese barberry. As the name implies, the Japanese barberry comes from another continent, so it isn't a natural part of the Pennsylvania landscape. Slaughterback's problem with the barberry, though, isn't the berry, which look like tiny green footballs but will turn red and suitable for jam later in the summer. But his problem was with the barb. He avoids any plant that's likely to scratch his skin. Another drawback to the barberry is it harbors ticks, so gathering and collecting edible wild plants has its risks. One of them is man-made. Slaughterback avoids picking plants that grow along roadsides where pesticides might have been sprayed. Some plants are poison, though despite what happened to Socrates, hemlock leaves make a refreshing tea. The berry seeds, though, may contain the poison. Before making tea, wine, jelly, pies, or salads with something from the outdoors, Slaughterback advised the hikers to positively identify the plants that they plan to use. Many of the hikers already knew about edible plants. Karen Supon of Whitehaven told me that she made elderberry wine and jelly from wild grapes whose juice was sweet as Welch's. Another hiker, whose name I didn't get, pointed out that mint has a square stem rather than a round stem to help identify it. To help the rest of us learn to recognize wild edible plants, Slaughterback encouraged us to read. He handed out a list of books that depict and describe edibles in the wild. To his list, I suggest you consult Stalking the Wild Asparagus. After some practice collecting plants, people might say, "You're another Euell Gibbons."